Stop talking about the Amazon business model. And George, I'm not meaning to be critical to you, but like I've stood on stage, with 1,000 people and said, raise your hand if you're an Amazon seller. Nobody goes. And I'll say, quit being a deadgum Amazon seller. And everybody's like, what are you supposed to do? I strongly encourage you to think of yourself as an e-commerce seller that uses Amazon, or as a product seller that uses Amazon, right? So when I see a question like this, George, I know exactly what's in your head, and it's this typical model of that all the courses have taught. You go to Jungle Scout, you go to Alibaba, you buy this thing, you put your sticker on it, you bring it in and sell it. That business model is gone, and I would argue that it's almost always been gone. We were able to slip under the radar for a little while. I mean, like some of my old products, like these emergency hammers, that's exactly what I did. I sold them. But it wasn't a great model just because I had a year's worth of sales, because then it tanked. It got too saturated. If you're building an e-commerce business where you have a product that's in demand with low competition, either you're one of the few people offering it and demand is higher than is supported by the current products available, or your branding is so good. People want your brand. People want your buyer experience. People want all that stuff. Then your Chinese suppliers are never going to be able to keep up, right? They're never. I can't tell you how many times I've had a Chinese competitor try to launch the same thing as me, and they can't do it because they don't know what PPC I'm running. They don't understand targeting keywords. They don't understand the buyer journey. They don't understand creating a brand. They don't understand any of that stuff. And eventually they give up. And for me, I usually try to sell products that fly under the radar. I don't have a single product that sells more than about 40 units a day, and I love it. If I have a product start selling 40, 50, 60, 70 units a day, I get nervous because now people are going to see that. And the Chinese suppliers, I'm not saying all Chinese suppliers, but the ones you're talking about, the suppliers in China that are competing with you by basically taking your ideas, they're not interested in stuff that sells 30, 40 units a day, because the only way they can compete is to drop the price so low that they have to have huge volume to make any money. So if I'm selling something 20 units a day, 30 units a day, they're not interested. They're probably not going to compete with me, right? It just doesn't happen. So again, it goes back to picking the right product. When you're picking the right product and you're not thinking of yourself as an Amazon seller, then the Chinese business model or the Amazon business model is not as much of an equation that you have to worry about.
Hey, Joy. I think
Joy
the last time
Packard
we met was in Iwu. Yeah,
I haven't seen Joy. Joy, it's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, so, okay, I want to go back to George's question for a second, because I see this all the time. I get asked this all the time as well. Let the Chinese or whoever, if you want to buy plastic shoe stretchers and they want to be 75 cents each or whatever it is, let the low-priced bottom dwellers product cannibalize themselves. What you do, or at least what I advise, is I always like perception. If I can do something different than the plastic shoe stretcher, I don't know, different color, different spring, different whatever, make it more unique, spend money on the packaging, but even it's not so much as just being on Amazon. You want to build that brand. So be that brand, have a nice listing, have your e-com, like your Shopify site, build up some consistent looking social media, and then start building content. And content either through PR, it could be videos, it could be a blog article. Now you're driving traffic over. And what's one of the first things that you do? I don't know about you, but when I see something new on Amazon, I go on to Google. My kids will say, I'll say the Google, but Google.
No, that's the Facebook, not the Google.
Oh, the Facebook, not the Google. And I'll check it out. And if I'm consistent, guess what? I can get twice the price or 3 times the price. And it happens all the time. It's not that, like, let's say something's $3.99 and everybody's in around that price. I'll go up, if I can, to $7.99, and I'll compete with the higher end products. Sometimes you can't do it, but most of the time you can, and you're making more product. For those that want to compete on volume, that's one thing. But the people that want quality, and there's a lot of Amazon people that want quality, they'll buy my product.